All right, y'all, welcome back to the channel. This is kind of weird for me. I've never recorded a video on my phone, but for this occasion, I think it is needed. I'm going to watch Creed 3 tonight, almost a week early. I got early tickets. I saw that they had dropped them in some select cities, so I snagged them as soon as I could. The only thing is I have to drive all the way to Houston, which is about 2.5 hours away from me. But you know what? For my most anticipated 2023 movie, I'm willing to do that. So I thought I would just, record some videos along the way, put them in a YouTube video, and then get my review. So this is what this is. It's weird. The sun's behind me. The lighting is really off. I haven't gotten a haircut in forever. But you know what? I thought this would be fun. So let's do it. I'll just put some videos here, maybe leading up to the theater. I don't know, we'll see. I've never been to this theater before, so I'm hoping that this is a lot of fun. So yeah, I'll be back with some more clips. I'm back. I just got out of my screening for Creed 3. I kind of want to wait and get into like my entire review when I get back home on my PC. But just as like a little spoiler-free review, I'll use this as the front section and finish it off when I get home. That movie was great. That movie was so good. I have little to no like actual flaws with the movie, other than at times it feels a bit rushed. The third act kind of goes a little bit too fast for my liking, so I think it would have benefited from a little bit more time. But other than that, I mean, Michael B. Jordan, what a debut. What a debut. Jonathan Majors acting his ass off. We all expected that, but man, he comes and he brings it. Everybody in this film brings it. Bianca even has a scene in here, Tessa Thompson, where she just lets it all out, and it's great. It's so good. I loved everything about this movie. And yeah, those fight scenes, man, those fight scenes, I cannot wait to get into it a little bit longer, but I'll save that for here in a little bit. I gotta rush home and charge my phone. And so yeah, man, this was great. I'm so excited to get this video out, and I'm so excited for this movie to officially come out everywhere in just a couple of days. So yeah, I'll be right back and get into my full review. Let's talk about Creed 3. I already kind of gave my spoiler-free review, a little bit of what I liked, what I didn't like. I'm gonna keep this spoiler-free just because the movie comes out tomorrow, and I don't know how much people are gonna watch this, but either way, let's get into it. So let's start off with the good. Like I said, the fight scenes were amazing. That last fight scene really is gonna be hit or miss for different people. I, for one, really liked it. There were moments where I was kind of taken out, from the fight. It didn't hold enough emotional weight to it just because of the style, but overall it is still really cool. Visually, one of the best fights in this entire franchise. And I'm just saying, if you need to watch this in IMAX, not if, you need to, because I was feeling my seat shaking from those punches. It was crazy. It was so cool. I also loved everything they did with Adonis and Damien. I'll get into my critiques of that when I get to the bad, but honestly, Adonis and Damien, they were amazing. It was such a good commentary on how men tend to repress their emotions sometimes, and how that can lead to consequences that Adonis does face in this movie. And it adds a lot to the story. It adds so much. And I just love the contrast between these two characters, kind of the good and the bad of what happens with this fame, what comes with it.
and the good and the bad of, the prison system, and if it gets you or if it doesn't get you. And I loved that so much. And Jonathan Majors, amazing. He did phenomenal in this movie, and I think, like I said, he contrasts Michael B. Jordan very, very well. Damien and Adonis, great hero villain dynamic, and I think this is probably my favorite villain in the entire Rocky franchise, with the exception probably of Apollo Creed in the first two movies. There is also a lot of emotion in this. I found myself crying. I think I have cried in every single movie in this franchise, both the Rocky movies and the Creed movies, but honestly, it was so great. Bianca gets such a great monologue. She's just sitting there laying it all out for Adonis, and honestly, I was getting flashbacks to Adrian in the Rocky movies. I love when she would go on these like long-winded speeches to Rocky, just kind of bringing him back down to earth, humbling him in a way. And Bianca fully does that in this movie. While she doesn't directly say, then maybe you just have to fight him like she does in the trailer, I think that part was cut from the movie. She does still have a lot of very important things to say to him that honestly brings everything in this movie together. And again, visually, it is so amazing. Their final fight is in Dodger Stadium, and it is so good. There's fireworks going off behind Adonis, and the way the light just moves across his face and the way it's all shot, it's just so beautiful. And same with that montage scene. The montage scene was awesome because they show us both Adonis and Damien training, right? And the Creed movies and the Rocky movies do this a lot. They show the montages side by side. But in this one, it just felt so different in the best way possible, because you're also rooting for Damien. You've spent almost as much time with Damien as you have with Adonis in this movie. And that montage, it really shows, because you're following Rocky, you're following Adonis in most of these movies, and the villains come in and they're great villains, but they don't have as much screen time, they don't have as much development or an arc as Damien has in this movie. And you can really tell in that montage scene, it just all comes together. And for Damien and Adonis to be training side by side in this montage that we're flipping back and forth to, it was so good. And it really showed a lot about how far Damien has come, how much he has to lose, and same with Adonis, how far Adonis has come and how much he has to lose in this final fight. And it was perfect. I loved that moment in the movie so much, and maybe a little bit more screen time with them two together would have done it even more justice. So I'll get into that now. Now let's talk about the bad. Now, I call it the bad, but it's not really bad. It's really just nitpicks at this point. I would like to start breaking down the good, the bad, the ugly of the movie. But when I categorize this as the bad for this movie, there was nothing bad. In my opinion, this is all just nitpicks, some stuff that I think would have made the movie a little bit better, in my opinion, would have made it sit better with me. But without further ado, let's get into the bad. Now, like I said, I really wish Adonis and Damien would have had a little bit more screen time together. I think we should have spent some more time on Damien and some more time on his flashbacks. I think that would have helped a lot with the emotion in the final fight. I think he is a great character. Again, one of the best Rocky villains, Creed villains in this franchise. But I think a little bit more time spent with him, a little bit more time with him and Adonis together would have done the movie a ton of justice. So if I were to change anything, I would change that. And with that, I feel like you could probably spend another extra 20 minutes, 15 minutes on this movie. The runtime could have been a little bit longer, and you could have spent most of that time, again, focusing on Damien and Adonis together. Not that they don't so much, I just feel like I wanted a little bit more. Because I don't think they're going to bring this villain back, and if they do, I feel like it'll be kind of a Rocky and Apollo situation where Damien is kind of in Adonis's corner, or Adonis is in Damien's corner for the fourth Creed movie. I feel like that's a way they can bring him back, but I don't think we're going to see these two button heads again. So I feel like a little bit more screen time, a little bit more time together with those two, which obviously leads to a longer runtime, would have done the movie very, very well. Another thing I really feel was missing was some of that great music that we hear in the first two Creed movies and even all throughout the Rocky franchise. I really wish they would have kept a little bit more of that original score, but the music is pretty good for what it is. I think a lot of it sets the tone very well. The first scene we get with a young Adonis and a young Damien, the music they use sets the scene very, very well. And honestly, that first flashback, I can't gush over it enough. It's great, and you know, like I said, it really sets up everything we are expecting out of this character Damien, and everything we're expecting out of Adonis in this story, this contained Creed 3 story. And as for the ugly, I have nothing. I absolutely love this movie. I think my final rating, when I got out of the theater, it was at a 91. After thinking about it for a couple days, after thinking things through, I'm sitting at a 89. This is my number one movie of 2023 so far. I'll see if I can add my top 8 or so right here on my Letterboxd. But yeah, Creed 3, it delivered. It was my most anticipated movie of the year. I had very few nitpicks with it. I overall absolutely love this film. I love the Creed movies. I watched the entire Rocky franchise and all the Creed movies leading up to this. I had seen some of them in the past, but I thought it'd be a good refresher. And it was. There was a lot of stuff I caught. There was a lot of stuff that I saw and stuff they did in the movie that kind of hit, you know, after watching everything. I thought it was great. And honestly, there's not much I would change in this film. So yeah, I think that about does it. What did you think of Creed? Are you excited for it? If you haven't watched it yet, let me know your scale of anticipation, 1 through 10. And if you have watched it, let me know in the comments below if you liked it, if you didn't like it. And without further ado, that's my review. Thank you for watching. Peace.